Hello everyone. Currently, some of the taxpayers are receiving notices for the cancellation followed by the order of suspension. This concept of suspension was inserted later in the law from 1 to 2019. Previously, there was no such provision related to suspension. Later on, a proviso was added under section 29 subsection 1 of CGST Act where a power was given to the officer that during the pendency of cancellation proceeding, the officer can suspend the registration. But at the same time, a rule was inserted 21A in which it was mentioned that for suspension also, officer have to give opportunity of being heard to the taxpayer. He should listen to the taxpayer that why his registration should not be suspended for the temporary period or till the proceeding of cancellation is completed. Now, this opportunity of being heard was revoked. Now, this provision was deleted. So, after 22/10/2020, now there is no such provision of opportunity of being heard. It means officer have the power. After issuing the notice for the cancellation, officer have the power. He can suspend his registration. Now, this is really a very big hardship to the taxpayer because it is not necessary that every taxpayer is doing some fraud. Because if you are suspending the registration, it means you are taking away his fundamental right as given in Article 19(1)(g) to carry on the business freely. भाई उसको बिजनेस नहीं करने दिया जा रहा बिकॉज अगर उसका रजिस्ट्रेशन सस्पेंडेड है ही कांट डू द बिजनेस क्योंकि सस्पेंशन में लिखा हुआ इफ यू आर सस्पेंडेड you can't make any taxable supply. So here it is happening और जब से opportunity of being heard रहता है, this is a very big hardship on the taxpayer and definitely this will be challenged at the higher forum. Now the officers are giving notice, giving straight away the order of suspension after giving the notice of cancellation. Now the cancellation can be done under two circumstances. The first is given in section 29 subsection 1 where registration has to be cancelled because या तो proprietor मर गया और the constitution of business has changed, whatever those are the very logical reason. But under section 29 subsection 2 it's a forced cancellation by the officer because in this there are some contravention of the law. Suppose the taxpayer is not submitting their returns. If the taxpayer is registered under section 10, अगर 6 कंसेक्यूटिव मंथ्स का रिटर्न नहीं गया तो कैंसिल हो जाएगा. अगर दूसरे टैक्स पेयर्स है तो उसी तरह से अलग अलग टाइम पीरियड दी हुई है जिसके कारण रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल हो सकता है. किसी ने वॉलंटरी रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया और बिजनेस स्टार्ट नहीं किया 6 महीने तक तो भी कैंसिल हो सकता है, या कोई फ्रॉड से रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया तो भी कैंसिल हो सकता है. बट द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग इज सेक्शन 29 सबसेक्शन 2 क्लॉज ए वेयर इट इज रिटन if any taxpayer contravenes such provision of the act which has been prescribed. Here it is mentioned such provision, not any provision. But some of the officers are misinterpreting this. But they are thinking कि भाई कोई भी provision अगर law का contravene हो रहा है तो they can issue the notice of cancellation. How is it possible? Only certain provisions are there. If a taxpayer is contravening those provisions, only in that case you can issue the notice of cancellation followed by the order of suspension. Okay, so it's not that in any case you can issue the notice of cancellation and then order of suspension. So whenever any such notice come or order of suspension comes, we should check the notice properly whether the notice is being issued on a valid ground. Otherwise notice itself will be void. So proper care should be taken. And regarding this opportunity of being heard in the case of suspension, definitely some higher forum will give some decision and this opportunity of being heard should be provided to every taxpayer to prove himself that his registration should not be cancelled. Thank you so much.